This is our 5th attempt recording this. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am finally doing a video with damostwanted76, or McCoy, whatever you want to call him.
What's that?
Basically, Update 11 came out yesterday finally, and we're going to do a short overview video on it. We're not going to go crazy into detail to every item, because I will be finally making my level 705 to 801 gear guide either tomorrow or the next day, so I'll go more into specific stats and stuff tomorrow. But first, let's start talking about Update 11. So is it good? I say Update 11 is pretty good. They added a lot of new things and is very challenging. Plus, he did announce today that he's going to nerf the Tartarus Raid again. This video, we're recording it before that happened, so some stuff may be a little bit inaccurate, but for the most part, everything should be on point. So with that said, let's get started with the Tartarus Raid. So the Tartarus Raid is easily the most difficult raid currently in the game besides the Frost Dragon Raid, but we'll talk about that later. The Tartarus Raid requires level 650 to attempt, and it is definitely the hardest thing we have ever done so far. Every run that we finish takes anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes, and we haven't even started hardcore yet. So the first section, basically the way it works is every section is separated by bridges, and it goes mobbing section, boss, mob, boss, mob, boss. So 7 total platforms. So the first section, what you want to do is start killing the mobs from the back to the front so you can make it across the bridges, because between every platform there is a bridge that will collapse if you take too long to cross it. But with that said, let's get to the first boss. What was the first boss name again?
Bone Collector.
Bone Collector. So the Bone Collector is pretty easy. We developed a really good strategy. Essentially what you want to do is make sure you have over 450,000 hit points, and if you do, this strategy works perfect. So what you do, run up to the boss, hit him once, activate Calamity and Havoc, make sure he does his ground pound attack, which is basically a big red box will form in front of him, and he throws his sword down and does massive damage, but it will not kill you. It instantly puts you in the tier 3 range of Havoc. What I mean by that is the plus 125% damage of it, and this lets you basically instant kill him. What we did most of the time was use Fire God and Azure at the same time because it seems to be a really good combo. Basically, the first boss fight is a breeze, and he drops the item known as the Bones Ring. This item is probably the worst item in the entire Tartarus Raid, and you will probably get a lot of them, but it is the defensive ring from the raid. After that, you're going to cross another bridge and go into another mobbing area, kill the mobs, and then you get to, in my opinion, the worst boss fight of the entire thing. I think his name's the Vampire King, but yeah, we haven't really figured out the best way to kill him yet. He spams a lot of abilities that put him in immunity, which there's a tornado one he does, and there's the shadow one, right?
Yep. So
the shadow one, basically you get sucked in and you just sit there and wait. And then you can attack him again. But he does drop the best accessory from normal mode, and this is the Mischievous Ring. This is the offensive ring. Everyone, you really got to go for this thing. It's super good, and once you get this ring, the raid becomes a lot easier. After you kill the Vampire King is yet again another mobbing area after the bridge. Kill the mobs, and then you're going to go against Hades. But might as well let the Most Wanted talk about that.
So Hades is the first boss that you'll start attacking. After that, it becomes Hades' true form. The best way we figured out to kill him is using the same strat as the beginning of the raid. So using Azure and Flame God, you start attacking it with the Havoc and Calamity. When you're attacking that, he'll start following you. You have to stop when he is chasing you down so he doesn't block.
Then you use so annoying.
That is so annoying. But then you use your main abilities, and after that, you can almost take his health massively down. We did it in a matter of minutes of taking his health down.
Once you get super used to it, it becomes a lot easier, but as he said, the blocking ability is the most annoying thing in the world. But there's another super annoying ability, and that is the Crystal. Or the Servant. It's either the Servant, we call it the Crystal because we're weird, but I think it's called the Servant.
Yeah, it's called the Servant.
Basically, it's hard to notice when it spawns in, but what happens is if it spawns in and targets you, you have like literally 2 to 3 seconds to kill it before it one-shots you. We pretty much 95% of the time, if we die into the boss, it's because of this. And since there is a nerf coming out after this video, it's possible that's going to get changed. I don't know yet. If it's not changed, you got to watch out for that. except for the boss is definitely worth the struggle. He drops a ton of really good weapons. The first one is the twin demon scythe. I was able to get this pretty easily, as in I got it my first completion. Basically, it's already better than a true blue dragon katana. It's 99,000 damage, 999. Yeah, and it makes a fat difference in your overall DPS, and plus it's just an overall great looking item, and he did a really good job with that. And then there's also another one called the Bloodseeker. I have not got it yet, but of course the most wanted with his amazing look already got it. But it is 119,000 damage, 999. It is the best weapon you can get from normal mode, but there is of course better gear on hardcore. We have not done hardcore yet a bunch, so we do not know a ton about it, but we do know about the armor. This is the Underworld Demon Wings, which is also dropped from True Form, right? I think.
Yeah, True Form.
But basically this is the best armor in the game. You want to get this, but it's on hardcore Tartarus, which is a huge struggle. We haven't attempted it yet, but from what we do know about it, most people are doing it in 5-man teams with silencers, protectors, and pretty much as much DPS as can, as well as defensive abilities. So we are going to be messing around with hardcore more this week, but today for this video, I'm not putting myself through that struggle. So that's pretty much the rough idea of Tartarus. There is 2 more higher tier items, higher tier weapons that are just in hardcore mode. There's the godly one, and then the just higher tier axe, I think. I don't know the stats or names of these yet, but they do exist. But there's something very special about Tartarus. There's something called wards. What are wards? Wards are very much so a pet gem thing. They're kind of complicated, but they're also really broken. So basically a ward lets you get a free attempt, not a free attempt, a safe attempt at a pet gem. So let's say you have the stuff to attempt a tier 3 pet gem. If you use a ward when attempting that tier 3 pet gem and the tier 3 pet gem does not, complete and it fails, then you will not lose any of your materials, but the ward will go away. So that's a drawback, but you can tell wards are very good, and I honestly think this will help the pet gem system so much. Once hardcore Tartarus becomes easy and all the OP strats are discovered, I'm sure everyone will get to tier 5 pet gems pretty quickly. But with that mentioned, why don't we go over what tier 4 and 5 are?
So what tier 4 and 5 are is the new pet gems that have been added after this update. As tier 4 is a little bit better than the tier 3 that has been nerfed at 100 attack, 75 crit. Where, if I'm not mistaken, the tier 3 pet gem was 100 attack, 125 crit before the nerf. Tier 5 is going to be a little bit okay at that same rate at 131 attack and 115 crit, which should get us a boost in both the raids after a while.
Yeah, the tier 5 basically is the old tier 3, but a little bit better. So yeah, I know there's some people who already have tier 5s, but don't expect your boy to get tier 5 till like 2021. So there is more raids besides the Tartarus that have been added. There is something called Sun Test. So basically Sun Test is a new solar raid which you must complete in order to do Frost Dragon, and damostwanted76 knows more about that, so I'm going to let him talk about it.
So the Sun Test is the raid to get into the Ice Frost Dragon. At the time, it's still pretty hard to do with a couple strats. I figured out another strat to try, and that's Havoc with the Flame God and Calamity. And you just gotta run away from him when he's attacking, and you can nearly one-shot him every time. So it's pretty easy. I did it in a minute and a half, a minute and 50 seconds.
And you did it without wearing a ring.
And I did it without wearing any ring. So.
And plus, you only have to get the Sun Test boss to half health in order to win. You win, and then you unlock the Frost Dragon Raid, which is the final new thing to this update. And holy hell, that is by far the most difficult thing. We've attempted it once. It's doable. 2-man on normal. It is not easy, but it is doable. From what we know, there is a couple of items that have been gotten. The first one is the Tundra Axe, which is a level 800 item. I'm pretty sure this is dropped on normal mode on the Frost Dragon Raid, and it does 190,000 damage. Very broken. There's also the Blizzard Blade, which does 229,000 damage, 999. This is also dropped on normal mode and is also level 800. Then the final item that we know about so far on the Frost Dragon Raid is the Iced Out Necklace, which is also level 800. So the way this update seems to be working is pretty much you do Tartarus until you can get enough items to do hardcore Tartarus. do that, get your rewards, get your gear, get all that, get your tier 4 pet gem, and then it looks like you may be focusing more on the Frost Dragon Raid. The Frost Dragon Raid gear is noticeably better, but it is by far the hardest raid in the game. There's no question about it. So this game does have a very healthy amount of skill difficulty variations, and everything. The Tartarus Raid is more towards your like average player, the casual player, and since it's being nerfed, it'll be even more so for the casual player and more the natural progression of the game. While the Frost Dragon Raid is for the hardcore players who are going to be playing every day, who want perfect gear, perfect stats, and overall just a much more difficult experience. And I implore that they do this stuff more often in the future. It is very good to have the options for those, top tier players who want the hardest challenges possible, as well as stuff for the players who aren't going to play every day. Maybe they only play twice a week. That's what's good about it. You got the Tartarus Raid, Frost Dragon Raid, Sun Test. Overall, this update has a lot to do and it is very challenging. And throughout the week, I will be doing plenty of videos on it, and look forward to my gear guide. It should be either out tomorrow or the next day, whenever we can get majority of the items for ourselves. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you come back for more videos later. Bye!